Oh, I got the macros. My screws. Hey, got a few people in already. Come in, have a seat. Relax. Grab something to drink. Grab something to eat. Grab something to drink and eat. Or if you're feeling really frisky, grab something to eat and drink. Oh, I'm stepping on the microphone. Pull that sucker right off, aren't I? All right. Hello, everybody. Give a few minutes for people to get in. I know this was another last-second live show. Let me know if you can hear my audio okay. All right. Do some camera adjustments here. And like this and like that. I really need to get a wide angle lens with this camera. Let's go up high here. Back. Oh, wrong way. Look at my messy floor. I think that'll work. Am I gonna get in the way? Should be high enough. You can look over my shoulder, maybe. No, it's not. Move things over to the side. You'd think I would have done this earlier. All right, it's gonna work. Good. All right, Konbanwa, folks. I see a few people in the chat already. Thank you for the audio check. Well, Rodney, first time catching me live. Yeah, first time catching me live too. All right. Up for several minutes. As you can see, there's something on my workbench. There's a bunch of things on my workbench. All right, let's see. I'll clean up my workbench. Yeah, right. So, sorry. Ah! Dang it. Oh, gravity. Why does it have to be so? All right, I'm just getting myself settled. Sorry, I just getting into the workshop after being inside all day. Thought I was ready. Apparently not as ready as I thought I was. So I'm just gonna settle things a few here. Oh, come on. I don't care what you smell. All right. So this is a glider. So if you missed sorry, it's going to be a disembodied voice for most of this. If you missed, maybe I'll sit in front of it. Hold on a second. How's this? Kind of, sort of. Most of me. All right. All right. Welcome to HobbyView Live. So I thought I'd have a live broadcast not real quick. Just to have one. I had one before when I talked about this, what we call the Leprechaun. And this is a review I'm actually working on for Model Aviation Magazine. But it came as a box of sticks, and I needed to build it. So I've actually pretty much finished building. I finished the airframe, and so I've started covering it. And in my last live show, somebody said, hey, if you're going to cover it, we'd like to see that in action. And even though I'm a bit in a rush to get it done, I thought, well, hey, why not? I'll just set up a camera and just have it fixed, and you can watch me cover it. And then some people, of course, maybe gnaw your arm off to escape the boredom or something. But anyways, the two of you that might find this interesting, I thought I'd post a live video of me doing it, and I can talk you through it and just sort of, you can see the process if you've never seen this done before. Now, I don't claim to be a super expert on covering, but I do a decent job of it, and so you can at least see something. So this is the airframe. This is the fuselage, and I've actually already started covering it. I've got a transparent blue. Actually, kind of wanted red, but they're out of red, so I got blue, which is just as nice. And so I've got the one side and the bottom is covered. The top and the other side needs to be covered. So I need to do that. I ran out of blue covering, and so I had to order some more. Local hobby shop was out, and it was supposed to get here yesterday. It didn't. It got here today, finally. So I actually had ordered some covering, some nice transparent blue, and I didn't order enough. I ordered 2 rolls of blue and a roll of white, and I blew through that 2 rolls like it was nothing. And I only had a third of the plane cover or half of the plane. So I had to order some more, and it took a couple days. I'll show you, I did actually do one of the wings, which came out pretty good. I thought, this is one of the, I know it's kind of close. There we go. This is one of the wings that's been covered already. I haven't shrunk the heat shrink yet. I just put it on, and so it's going to be kind of wrinkly. You can see some of the wrinkles. And so I kind of picked a really basic paint scheme, transparent blue with a white leading edge, something to break it up a little bit, but it doesn't take me long to do. So, something, it still looks kind of nice, but nothing intricate like some of the other stuff I've done. So what I'm going to do is tonight is the other wing has not done. So I've only had enough roll for one wing, top and bottom, and the rest I had enough scraps to do the fuselage size, and I think part of the rudder. So this is a big plane. It went through that covering like there was no tomorrow. So now I can finally get to getting the other part. So I'm going to start working on that, and you can watch me while I do it, because you have nothing better to do, right? Anyways, so I see a few things in the chat. I won't be able to look at the chat as often as I usually do because I need to go through this, but I will look up periodically. So feel free to throw something in the chat, and I'll take a break every once in a while and take a look through what's going on. So I'm going to get off the camera frame and start getting stuff ready. So I'm going to put this wing over here where you can't see. And so I'll start with the other wing. So here is the other wing here, framed up. So this is ready to go. So I can get you a good picture of it. So this will look like when it's not covered. We're going to move the camera back a little more. And hey, I just got an idea for the camera. So I'm going to reposition the camera, see something a little better. So this is all done. I've built it. I've sanded it. I had a little filler here and there. So I think it's ready to go. I just remembered something I need to do. I forgot one piece. So I had to do one little bit of fillering. I'll go with this later. This is like I usually do with the scraps. So I'm going to put this aside and put it on my auxiliary table. Find my tools. That's our evening. Oh, hey, Russ. I see you in the chat. Yeah, that was a big surprise. That, where did I put it? Oh, so box with another car. I don't even have the fuselage. I just got the wings and the bits and pieces. So that's pretty cool. Hopefully that'll be a future video. And who else we have? First time here. Hello, Craig. Total model in years. Yeah. No other seal prep for wood. No, I usually don't do a seal prep. Basically, I'll blow it off with compressed air and sand it, compressed air, kind of clean it up, and that's it. I don't know. Some people do put sealer on it if you want, or it can get really put a little pinhole. I ain't got time for that. So I just remembered I needed to finish off, do some sanding. I'm going to reposition the camera a little bit. I just got an idea. So bear with me for a second. I need to see about if I can collapse the. Yeah, it's going to look like an earthquake for a second. If this works, it'll give me a better angle. If it doesn't, it won't. Yay. Yeah, my workshop is a mess here. I got wires everywhere. Yeah, earthquake. Just bear with me. I'll take things I should have thought of before I started the Airstream for 200, Alex. All right. Yep, there's my messy floor. Ah, dang it. Almost done. All right, I want to try this. Here we go. Uh-oh. The cable is acting wonky. All right, so this should give me a higher view and a oblique angle, so I shouldn't get into the way. Yeah, I think that's a little better. That, yeah, I think that'll work. Back up. All right, you can see the table. Okay, so let me. So I've got my handy dandy covering iron. I'm going to turn this on, get it nice and warmed up. So I use just a generic covering iron with you notice it has a kind of a sock on it. These are baby socks. Go to Walmart, pick up a pack of baby socks for a few bucks, and I've got enough to cover several planes because they do get dirty and worn out after a while, but it's a little trick I learned somewhere. And I think I have a baby sock somewhere. Yeah, see, little baby socks. So putting a sock on the iron helps prevent scratches and marring of the covering. And so I've started doing this for all my covering jobs, and everything looks really nice. You have to turn the heat up a little more than usual, but it's fine. Oh, sometimes I'll keep one. I'll also use it as a, what I'll do is I'll take the sock and I'll stick my hand in it. And so as I cover, I can smooth over and help it stick without burning my hands and marring the plastic. So I'll keep one out just for that use. We've got some Ultra Coat. Ultra Coat is, I actually quite like Ultra Coat. It's a low temp covering. And I used to do stuff in Monocoat. Of course, Monocoat kind of no longer exists, but that's fine because I actually really quite like Ultra Coat. I've been doing all my stuff with this, and I think it's actually probably easier to work with than the old Monocoat. Although you can still get a clone of the Monocoat, China Coat, I think they call it. I'm not sure if it's a brand name or just a colloquialism, but that is available too. My thing about Monocoat is for us in here in the States, it's pretty easily available, and they have a lightweight version. Monocoat Light or something like that. So I'm gonna do that. And before I forget, I need to grab a couple of things. There we go. Got some sanding tools. I've got I love these little sanders. I forgot who makes them. It's called a mini sander. A replaceable grip. It's kind of soft. These are great. I also have a Great Plains sort of extruded aluminum flat sander as well. Those are the main ones I use. I do have a one of these with a finer grit as well for stuff. And I was looking for here it is, a knife. I just remembered I need to take off a little bit of scroll down a little bit. There was a little notch here I wanted to trim a little bit. So I'm just gonna take the knife. It's on the bottom of the wing. when I joined, this is plywood and the balsa. The joint was not quite. I don't know, it wasn't sitting on the board right or something. So it's mainly cosmetic. So I'm just gonna slice off. I'd forgotten to do this. There we go. And then I can take some sandpaper. Sort of blend it in a little bit. Again, it's on the bottom of the wing. Barely be noticed, but I noticed it. So I decided I'll just do that real quick. I mean, literally just going to take me a couple minutes. There we go. So last time, if you missed my last live stream, it's archived, so you can go watch it again. Doing a little last minute sanding. I talked about this kit. This is the Leprechaun. It's I believe an older design. It's kind of been re-kitted. I think it goes pretty old, and it's actually pretty nice. Very nice kit. The laser cutting is pretty good. The wood seems to be pretty good. The instructions not so great. They're okay, but you really have had to have built planes before, at least one or two from a kit, to really understand what the instructions are. Really basic, just pictures and stuff. So it's not too bad, but they really. I can't say I'd recommend it as your first glider kit if you've never built anything. You'd be really confused about some stuff. So I'm gonna knock them a little bit on that in the review, but otherwise it's a really nice looking plane. It's a very classic design. It looks like a very much old school. It's got an under-cambered wing, so it looks very much reminds me of, here's a wing. It's upside down, but maybe you can see the under camber a little bit. There you go. So this is really reminiscent of the old school free flight kind of design. In fact, I was picking through the manual and it says, yeah, CG is 50% of the wing chord. And I was like, oh, yep, because it's got a flying tail. So I've had another plane, Kurswap, I think it's called, much like that. And they tend to really balloon up under power, but once you cut the power off, they settle in real nicely and tend to be nice gliders. This is not going to win any competitions probably for gliding, but hopefully it'll be a nice plane. My goal is to get it flying for this weekend. So I only got a couple of days to get ready, get it finished, and so I can get it flying this weekend. So I'm really, really huffing. So I'm going to get covering and less talking. I'm going to open up this package of Ultra Coat and take a look at the chat real quick. Computer is kind of several feet away, so I got to walk over here. Hey, Lee. How's it going? Okay, so we have Nitro Neil. That's a great name. Roger that. Round Top was a cool event. I can only attend on Friday. Yeah. I went to the Round Top event. If you listen to the RC Roundtable podcast, which I am part of, we talked about Round Top. We just recorded an episode where we were talking about going to Round Top, and after that, we're going to talk about what it was like at Round Top, because I went there this past weekend, had a great time, and saw lots of cool stuff flying, even won something. So yeah. So that's what we're talking about. It was a new fly-in here in Texas, the first time they ever had it, and it was spectacular. They're advertising it as more of an expo than just a fly-in. So it's new. And so they had a swap meet, and they had vendors. The AMA had representatives that came out to talk to us. There was a former governor of Texas even showed up. We had real aircraft flying around. Several landed, so we can gawk at them. So, all right. So it looks like there's a few people here even know each other. Matthew, well, I'm 92 years old. This takes me back. Only made it to U control. Did mess with a couple of Dynajets. Oh, Dynajets. Oh, man. Duh. Oh. Do you still have your hearing? Anyways. All right, guys. It looks like we got a bunch of people here. We've got a quorum. All right, so let's go. I've taken the plastic off. What I'm going to do is roll out some of this covering and remember what I do with my knife. I've misplaced my knife. Hold on a second. There it is. My tables. I cleaned up my table and it's a mess again. And I got two pairs of scissors. Doesn't make any sense. All right, so clean this off a little bit. The nice thing about this board is it is a table I got from Harbor Freight, but the top is Homosote, which is a soundproofing material. It's great, fibrous material that you can stick pins in, you can cut on, doesn't hurt the knife for the most part, but it's still pretty solid. So you'll see me cutting around on it, and it's removable. I just put a couple screws, so when this wears out, I can pull it off, flip it upside down, reuse that side, and ultimately throw it away when I'm done with it. So I haven't even flipped it over. I'm still using the same side for about a year or more. Great stuff. Sometimes a bit tricky to find. There was an iFly AMA video from Lee Ray. He talks about using this stuff, and he turned me on to it. And I'm a big fan. I got some more of it, and I can build. When I built this model on another board, I literally stuck the pins in this Homosote for the structure, so it works really good. So you're going to see me cutting on this, or cutting away. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is cut out a sheet. I'm going to start with the bottom of the wing. I like to cover the bottom first, then the top, so that when you overlap the covering, it overlaps sort of on the bottom, and I think that's better, less likely to pull up on you. So when you unroll it, the sticky side with heat is on the inside. So I'm going to put sticky side up, roll everything out. Hopefully you can see everything pretty good. And I'm going to lay the wing on top of it. I can do that without breaking anything. I have done that. I've broken a couple of spars and ribs by manhandling it. All right, so basically I'm going to just take this and this. All right, I might grab a weight here. Maybe another weight. Got my handy 1, 2, 3 blocks, machinist blocks. There you go. So I want to make sure I got a little bit of overlap. Inch or so should do it. All right, there's that. And I'm going to find use my big ass ruler. And I'm going to cut a little bit off here. All right. I should give myself plenty for the overlap. All right. This is a concave shape. All right, so I'm going to start here and just cut there. I can actually just do this freehand here since it's a curve. Doesn't have to be precise, just there we go. Sorry, it's microphone cable. I broke the clip, and so it doesn't stay as well as it should. Of being the most efficient that I can use the covering. So I didn't go all the way through. I actually stopped. So there's a little thing here that might be usable on the fuselage or something. We'll see. It may not, since I'm kind of partially done, but this time at least I got extra covering. So roll that up. I guess while I'm at it, Maybe I'll do the other side. So put that aside, and now I need to cut a piece for the top. Let that roll off. So I'm going to turn it over. Oh, that's right. There's not enough covering. So I'm going to have to open another roll for the other top of the wing. Forgot about that. I'll do that later. So this is extra stuff. I still have to do part of the tail, so hopefully this might fit for the tail. It might not. I don't remember. Mm-hmm. All right, so back to the bone of the wing. Here. There you go. Can you see that? All right, so I'll take this piece here. Sorry. The chat caught my attention. All right. Workbenches. Yeah, workbenches are kind of new for me too. Well, semi-new. I was a kid. I think I built my first plane I ever built was a Gentle Lady glider, which I have another one up here somewhere. One of these days I'm going to get to it and build it. My first plane kit built was a Gentle Lady, and I think I literally built it on my bed in my bedroom when I was a teenager. And then later I built some stuff on drafting boards, which was not bad, but it didn't, wasn't ideal. So right now I'm peeling off the backing. There it is on the floor. So I just remembered that I cut this a little too big. I forgot that I'm not doing the whole wing. It's okay. I got plenty of covering this time. All right, so I'm gonna pull this. The leading edge, like on this wing, is break it, is white on the first couple of inches. I do not have to cover the whole thing because it's going to be white here. So I'm going to only cover part of the wood, just enough to give me a good adhesion on the wood and kind of form a line. So I'm just going to eyeball it. It's roughly 1/4 inch-ish. So, and what I'll do is I'll take the iron, I'll tack it down. Just tack it down here a little bit. Come over here and make sure it's straight-ish. Doesn't have to be perfect. Take it down here a little bit. So keep it from moving. I kind of come in the middle. Tack it down a little bit. And just kind of work my way. Tacking it down a little, just here and there. Ideally, you should also, I wanted to form a good, normally would be more spread out, but since I'm kind of forming a line here, I want to get the line good. I didn't want to do this at first because it can move the covering all over the place, so I tacked it down in different places, and now I'm going over it again to really get a good seal. So it looks like it's making a nice seal. We'll do the wingtip here. Switch straight. Fall on that a little bit. Make sure I get everything right. I'll look in the reflection. Here we go. All right. So with the leading edge, I can actually see where it's sticking and where it's not, and so I can sort of go through it. I don't need the sock. Oh, it's a little warm, but per se for this, just make sure it's stuck really well. So my microphone's all jacked up. There we go. All right, so with that, I'm going to turn this around. I'm going to start. That's a problem. I'm right-handed. I need to pull that. I'm going to turn it around again because being right-handed, it's probably easier for me to pull. So I'm going to make sure this is flat. I'm going to just kind of pull it a little bit tight. Just tack it there. Let it cool down. Tack the corner here. So I'm pulling on it a little bit. Even though it's under cambered, there's still enough give to, oops, because I'm going to have to stick it to the ribs. Stick it to the ribs. We're going to try this left-handed. Ha ha ha. Yeah, I should have cut this a little shorter. Again, I'm pulling on it a little bit, not super tight, but enough to get it taut a little bit. Getting the corners, just kind of, I'll work my way around here in a second. Try not to have too many wrinkles. So, on the edge here a little bit. People are asking about sealing the wood. The tips are ply, and so that probably would have benefited from some sort of seal a little better, a little more than the balsa wood, but I did the other one without any problem, so probably going to have to move this up. Maybe I'll turn it around. This is the fun thing about covering. All the maneuvering for an angling you got to do. All right, what I'm going to do actually is, the covering is a little too long, so I'm going to cut it down a little bit, make it easier for me to tug on. I had forgotten that I didn't need to cut it so wide. I'll do that with the top. The blade's getting a little dull too. See how it's not cutting all the way? I think this is the first model I've cut in years. Covered in years that is transparent. And transparent is neat for gliders. It's just kind of a cool thing to see. You can see the wood structure, and I think it tends to make it a little brighter when you're flying, especially high. It's sort of almost self-illuminating. Here we go. See, now with less covering overhang, it's actually easier for me to grab the covering. That's the problem I was having. So now with one hand, I can grab the covering, pull it tight, and then touch it with the heat gun. That's making my life a lot easier. So I can work my way around and kind of skip around, pull a little bit, hit with a tack gun, pull a little bit, hit it. There we go. Now we're cooking with oil. So I'm kind of going, again, same concept. I'm not just going to go whack like that because that tends to pull the covering in one direction. You're more likely to end up with wrinkles and stuff that will be harder to get out. So I'm kind of working my way around in spots, pulling, heating, covering. I may end up with some minor wrinkles, but at least with the heat gun, I could take that out. The nice thing about this covering too is if you add a little heat, you can actually a lot of times pull it back up and reposition and heat it back down again, which is what I really like. You could never do that with monocoat. Once it's on, you're committed. So I'm going to work on the wingtip here. And I think it's doing pretty good. I'm pretty happy with this. There's very minor bubbles. There's a little bit here. Maybe I can pull it up again. Pull and heat, pull and heat, pull and heat, pull and heat, pull and heat. Repeat as necessary. So I got a little bit of a bubble here, but I think I can pull it up with some heat. Yeah, phone. I think I can do it. There we go. So I don't know if you could see, you probably couldn't see it, but there's a little bit of a wrinkle. All I need to do is lift it up, pull it taut, and then I can reheat it, stick it back down again. That's the advantage of these low temp coverings like the Zoltracoat here. So now, basically that's done. I'm just going to go through and tack everything down on the trailing edge here. Sometimes you need to wait a second, heat it, pull, wait a second for it to cool down. Okay, I think we are almost done. Yeah, covering is a little bit, I won't say tedious. It's just, it takes your time. Just take your time and work through it. Sometimes you can spend as much time covering as you do building a plane. All right, so I need to do the end cap here. So I'll pull this. I should have tacked it down earlier, but I kind of forgot, but it's not a big deal. So for this, I'm going to grab my baby sock. Since it's a nice flat area, so I'm going to, I don't think there's much to pull. Do the edge a little bit. All right, so I'm going to basically press down and use the baby sock. Without the baby sock, it'd be really hot. In fact, it's pretty warm already, but the baby sock helps two things. It makes it the heat glue stick a little better, especially over large flat surfaces like that, and it also keeps my fingers from getting too hot. Now I'm doing this, you'll see in a second, because if you remember, this is an under-cambered wing. So I have to make sure that the covering is stuck really well to the bottom of the wing. Normally you can just cover the perimeters and then heat shrink the middle with a heat gun, which I will do with this. But since it's under-cambered, if I want to maintain the under-cambered airfoil, make sure it's down here, I'm going to have to start tacking down on the spars and the ribs as well. So let's, I guess, get to it. Huh? I'm trying to remember how I did it last time. I think I started with the spars. I think I used a glove There we go, yeah. Heat shrink. So I'm sticking the covering to the spars. And using the, it's still looking warm, using the hot sock to make sure it sticks down. Woohoo! It's still getting pretty warm. But I'm making sure I'm getting it nice and warm so that the glue sticks really well. I could use a smaller iron. I actually have one of those little trim irons, but I'm getting lazy. This does just as well. All right. And I got another one. Should have got 2 socks. But it's sticking. It's sticking. So it's nice. It gives me at least 2 points. That didn't stick. There we go. It just reminded me of when being hot here. Went to a Mexican restaurant some time ago. And if you ever go to a Mexican restaurant, they serve the plates hot. And I noticed when we got served, the guy that served us wasn't wearing any gloves. So he drops the plate, he's carrying his plate, drops it on the table, and says, "Hey, careful, it's hot." I'm like, "You're not wearing any gloves." He goes, "Yeah, I worked here for a long time. It doesn't bother me." Meanwhile, the plate's 3,000 degrees. Like, man, you must have lost all feeling in your hands. All right. So I stuck covering to the 2 spars. And so what I'm going to do is now go through and stick it to the ribs best I can. There we go. The ribs are not as much meat, so hopefully it'll stay stuck. But I probably starting to tighten up a little bit. So what I'm going to do, actually, before I continue sticking these on, is I'm going to finish up the trailing edge here. So I'm going to take this and overlap a little more. Trailing edge. I'm worried about, as I'm heating it up, getting it taut, that it might pull up on the trailing edge because it's not completely sealed. So I'm going to just go and work my way around on the trailing edge so I can trim it. When you get to the more compound curves, you can sort of pull and maneuver and try to get rid of any wrinkles. Pull. In one of my other videos, it was a Marine Saulnier one. Saulnier. I went to visit Larry Hartman, and he was doing something similar, but he used a heat gun to do this, which I thought was interesting. I was like, "Oh, that's a little advanced." So basically, it's the same concept. You pull and you. Sorry, you probably can't see it, but I'm pulling it and heating it. I'm going over almost to the vertical edge. Pulling it and pulling it. Pulling it and pulling it. There we go. Oh, hit my thumb. Go this. Again, I'm just kind of go to the vertical edge. Over here so you can see, sorry. All right. So that's good. All right, I feel better about that. Let me finish up the ribs here. When we last left off, it was, I think, this rib. And this rib. Yeah. Ribs. It's funny, like I said, I was originally going to do it red, but now that it's blue, I actually quite like this blue. It's probably a better color than the red. The transparent red, I was going to cover it. Initially, I was just going to do something different. I have a couple other planes that are transparent or transparent blue-ish. But I guess that's the reason, because it looks nice. This is the only thing about under-cambered wings. They take a little longer because you got to do this. But once this is done, it's it. The top, I won't have to do this. And I hope it stays once I hit with the heat gun. It's okay. It's not critical. I mean, this is just a small plane, so aerodynamicists will talk to you about Reynolds numbers and scale factors and that kind of stuff. So I'm just doing it to be thorough, but I think once oops, spot I missed before. Oops. Oops. Good thing I caught that. Putting a leading edge, and lift it up a little bit. All right, one more rib. It'll stay. Kind of, sort of. Oh well, I can go back over and touch it up later. It looks pretty good. Just admiring my handiwork. I think for the most part, that is what I need. All right, so I'm going to trim off the excess. Don't think this is sharp enough. Normally I just take a X-Acto knife and trim. How's the video feed too, by the way? Let me know in the chat. I didn't use the usual Wi-Fi router. So if it's not looking good, let me know. I can try something else. Maybe. Still good. All right, so I'm just going to take the knife and just trim off the covering. I thought it was dull, but it's not. It's doing pretty good. So just let the blade ride on the edge of the wood or the trailing edge. Just run it along the edge. There we go. Comes right off. I can do the same thing. But I got a little toy. Haha. I've got one of these. I think it's a Dave Brown trimming tool that I picked up, I think at the AMA Expo some time ago. And so it's got a straight edge and some grooves. And what it allows me to do is I can trim this at a uniform distance. Let me tack this down a little bit. And well, I could certainly use the X-Acto knife. I like to play with little toys sometimes. And it gives me, hopefully if it works, it gives me a nice uniform cut. So I'm just gonna line it up, put it between the grooves, see if it works. Problem is, I think I need to change the blade. Here we go. Come on, there we go. Just run it. I think the blade's getting dull. Let's try another gap. Come on. Of course, I show you my new toy and it's not working well. Let's try this. This is not working well. There we go. I think. Yeah, let me put this down. Sorry, bad camera angle. There we go. Part of it was me holding it in the air. There we go. That did it. Hey, I think that worked pretty well. So I'll just overlap. All right. First part got bungled. I really need to change the blade on it. Reason why I wanted to do it though, because it gives me a nice even line. I know this is on the inside. You're not going to see this unless I take the wing off, but it's pretty cool. Other than the buggered part here. So that's the bottom of the wing. All right, so that looks good. Yeah. So onto the top. I'm gonna open up another package of covering. Grab a swig of something to drink real quick. I'll take a look at the chat. Oh, I see Tony's in the chat. Hey, Tony. And Terry. Man, the gang's all here. Ooh, Batman. Let me scroll up a little bit here on the chat, see if I miss anything important. Let's see. Merle Smith. So, it's off the screen. Talk about wing warping. Okay, I used to drop ceiling tile. Yes, I've actually used drop ceiling tile a long ago. It's okay, but it doesn't tend to hold the pins all that well. I think Homosote is a better solution, sort of a more dense ceiling tile. Unintentional as I don't know what ASMR is. Oh wow, Steven, you're on at 7:37. Wow. Well, hello from halfway across the world. To you at 30-something thousand feet, traveling between Perth and Brisbane. Fantastic. It's amazing. Flying around in an aluminum tube at 600 miles an hour, watching the internet from some dumb schlub like me playing with a toy airplane. Somebody uses magnets for covering. That's a good idea. What brand? I'm using Hanger 9 Ultra Coat. I'm coming in late. 9. Pretty good stuff. Hey, thanks, Ty. Higley. You're right. It's a Higley. Yeah, Harry Higley trim tool. I don't think I give you a good picture of it. Hold on. Let me get the focus to focus. In here. Here, is it? Here. It's not focusing. There we go. So it's some aluminum block with a straight edge and some channels. This allows you to use different, as the blade dulls, you have several different options. It's, it's not necessary. Just one of those things that just looks cool. Let me try it. And so, in fact, I need to replace the blade. I think this blade has about had it. All right. Let's see, Higley. All right, I'm going to start again. We'll do the last couple of chats. Oh, hey, Matt. How's it going? Good to see you join in. Yes, I thought I'd take a break from the rigors of work, as you know, and I'm going to go and cover this airplane. So, Kentucky. Hello, Andrew. I like your chicken, but you haven't heard that before. Ha! All right, so I got another roll of Ultra Coat. That was roll 1, just for one side of the wing. So I'm going to grab this roll 2 somewhere and open it up. It's like a bad Christmas gift. I'm trying to open these things up. All right, there we go. My hanger 9. Hanger 9. Every time I think Hanger 9, I think of an old movie called Hanger 18, which was about the government discovers a crashed UFO, and they stick it in Hanger 18. And there's a couple, I think they were astronauts. They saw the UFO, but the government didn't tell them that they had found it. So they were determined to go find the UFO and then reveal the government conspiracy of harboring that thing. And it was an early 80s movie. And I watched the hell out of it when I was a kid. All right, so. Right. And I'm going to remember not to overcut it this time. So the sticky side is down, and I'm on the top of the wing, so that's good. So I don't know if you can see. I've got this much of wood, so I'm not going to cut that much again like an idiot. All right, so in. All right, that and that. And this time I'm just going to do it freehand. Measure about 1 inch. That's got enough overlap. That's down. All right. Also, this, oops, I'm stepping on my microphone. Sorry about that. Hold on. As I move the microphone. All right, there we go. I can stick this in my pocket. Okay, so the nice thing is this should give me enough to actually cover the other half of the fuselage. So I can reuse this part and save some film. All right, thanks. All right. Now the top is going to be a little more fun because there's more compound curves. But basically I do the same thing as I did for the bottom. Let me peel off the backing. If I can get to it, there we go. Sometimes you have problems peeling off the backing, you can use some tape. But there we go. I can feel a sling. All right. Give yourself plenty to pull over there. Okay, so I'll make sure I got enough overlap. That looks good. And just like on the bottom, give myself about 1/4 inch or so, 1/4 to 1/2 inch of overlap onto the front wing D tube, more of a C tube. So I'm going to tack it down here. Give it a little bit of a pull. Tack it down there. Tack it down in the middle. Middle of the middle. Sort of work my way. Not going to do the wingtip just yet. Okay, I'm doing this to get sort of a straight line. I always worry when I do this, like, am I doing it right? This is going to work out? Did I just screw something up? It's always a bit of neurosis going on when I do this, especially when I'm broadcasting to the world. That's how I usually really screw up. From here, nobody's looking, it'll come out perfect. Not everybody's looking, I'm going to do something goofy. All right, that's on there. All right. Again, I'm going to kind of start in the middle-ish. Get out of here. Pull this a little bit. Oops. Am I off? So in fact, I want to pull this up. I'm actually going to start here, I think. Trying to minimize my wrinkles, because almost invariably something kind of goes off a little bit. You start getting wrinkles. Good news is this line doesn't have to be super perfect on the front. In fact, I'm going to lift it up a little bit. Go. So pull. Again, I like to pull a little bit. It's not super loose. Come over here. There we go. Pull that. Okay, I think that's looking better. Yeah. Yeah. Pull and heat, pull and heat, pull and heat. The fun part is when you get to the wingtip. This always gives me angst. So I'm just going to work my way around the wingtip, pulling, heating. A lot of times you can pull some of the wrinkles out a little bit. And of course, it's going to be wrinkled a little bit, but that'll be taken up with the heat gun. So I need to... I just don't want any major wrinkles that fold over like it's about to happen here. So I'm going to lift this up. I don't know if you can see that, but because of the compound curve and the way the wood's moving, there we go. I think I can heat that up. Yeah. So I'm going to pull and shrink and pull and shrink. Do the best I can to get the wrinkles from not really appearing, or any overlaps, that is. There we go. I think I got it. I kind of cheated a little bit here. Line. Well, that looks okay. The nice thing about using two tones is I don't have to worry about the other part of the compound curves on the leading edge. That'll be a separate piece, and so I can work on that easier than having one huge piece over it. So sometimes a little variety also makes life a little easier. So I think that actually worked out pretty good. I'm not disliking this for the most part. There's a little bit of a crease right here. Very, very minor. Not much I can do about it. But I think good enough for government work. I'm not trying to win any contests, covering contests with this. And I need to get this piece. So I'm going to start in the middle. Where's my glove? My sock. My baby sock. I lost the baby sock. Oh, here's one. Okay. All right, so I'm going to, as I said, start in the middle. Kind of work my way over with this. Try to avoid any major creases and wrinkles. That looks good. Ooh, hot. Of course, the only thing about transparent covering is it doesn't hide anything. So there's a couple of spots. I think the wood is a different color or slightly off color. A couple of places where I had glue. I mean, you can do sanding and maybe some spackling cleaning, but again, I ain't got time for that. All right, look at that. Woohoo! Check leading edge. And we've got the top covered. Don't have to waste time sticking it to the ribs and the spars. It'll do that naturally since it's a convex curve. I always got to think about that for a second. So, do the edge a little bit. do this edge. I know some people think covering is kind of tedious, and it can be a little bit, but just after a while you get in the zone. Earlier today I was like, gotta cover the plane. Time to make the donuts. Why can't I sit on the couch and watch Cowboy Bebop? No. Go into workshop, start covering, and after a while you're like, couch? What couch? I got stuff to do. I got covering to do. And it's kind of nice. This is kind of a nice thing about model building too, is sort of come in the workshop, tell everybody to leave you alone, present company excluded, of course, and just sort of go at a model, build something, fix something, set something up. Sorry. This tip is getting a little cumbersome for me to hold. I need a third hand is a problem. I wonder if, like, in the year 3000s, people have third hand just for stuff like this. Of course, in the year 3000, they'll have robots to do this for you too, right? You'll be like, Mr. Robo, build me a plane. Okay. All right, so I'm going to do the same thing I did before with the other. Is camera angle good? There we go. And take my knife and very carefully just trim the last bit of it. To be a little more careful that you don't dig into the wood. So I just take my sweet time and just go and do that. Maybe even zoom a little bit. You see what I'm doing? There we go. Get to the tip. Oops. Tore a little bit. Come on. All right. Yeah, and stay there. All right, so just seal up this edge I just created. All right. I think that will do it. Where did I do with my thingamajiggy? The table's getting too much stuff on it. Misplaced my trim tool. I just had it. I have this amazing ability to lose stuff really quickly. It should be right here. Ready to go. Ah, interesting. Probably looking right at it and don't realize it. Oh, here it is. Moved it over. All right, keep up the great work. Checking the trim. Oh, hey, Raymond. Just wing it. Ha! Awesome, dude. A pro at work. Ha! Hardly a pro. My Sick Cadet Sport is the same color scheme. Really looks good in the air, especially on vintage design. All right. It's good to know I'm not completely off base. I'm going to take a second to find an Allen screw. That is too big. There you go. I mentioned that the blade was dull, so I'm going to change out this blade real quick with a brand new one. It's not so carbon scored. And I think you can turn the blade over too and you reuse it, but I'm not going to bother with this one. It's oxidized pretty bad. All right, so let's try this again. Yeah, actually, there we go. So you can see it. Seal this leading edge. Yeah. Try this again with a new blade. There we go. Kind of, sort of. Aha, much better. I like that. I don't know why. I just like it that it's a uniform length and distance. That's pretty cool. Tighten up the tip here. Again, something you'll never see unless you take the wing off. All right, so the blue is done. Ja, the bluen. Blue arrow. So next step is to do the white. I have some white somewhere here. I think this is it. So I'm going to try to, that should work. Again, white ultra coat. I've been covering some stuff with it, so this is sort of half of a thing, but I wanted to get an idea of how much I'm going to need for the length. All right, so that. Right, so there. Oh, excuse me. Knife, ruler is somewhere. There it is. Dang it. It slid off. It's not critical. I just goofed and it slipped off the straight edge. All right. Okay. All right, so I don't have a whole lot of white left, so I'm going to try to split this right down the middle. This should give me the leading edge for top and bottom if I do it correctly. So I'm going to grab a Sharpie somewhere. And a ruler. Go right down their throat. All right, let's see. So roughly 9.5 inches. That's 4.5 be 9, 4.25 roughly. Okay, what if I use metric? That's easier to divide. There we go, 24. That's 12. I knew metric was good for something. Oh, less than 24. 12. Put one in the middle. Okay. So we will bisect this quite nicely. So this, I'm going to be careful to make a nice straight line because I don't think either side is very straight. All right, so sorry if I'm being quiet, just thinking, being introspective, making sure I don't mess this up. Mostly good. Got to the end. Always something. So I'm gonna keep the ruler and do this really careful like. Thought the knife was sharp. The tip wasn't quite as sharp as I thought. Okay. There you go. That's good enough. All right. All right, what's going on over here? Okay, so I've got 2 pieces cut with a nice straight edge. Just double check. I think one of the straight edges was natural. Not that one. Not that one either. Okay. 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 Just make a note on the back. Which edge to use? Okay. All right. One is slightly better than the other. Very, very minor bugger, so that's going to go on the bottom. So enter the bottom of the wing. Some white. I'm going to mark the clean edge. Clean edge is there. And it will go here. The grip part is very minor. All right. So this is easy to line up. Basically, I'll line up. It's going to overlap the blue a little bit, come to the line where the wood ends. So I'll just line that up with that part. Get this out of the way. And that will form a nice straight edge, built-in straight edge. So I'm just going to start here, right where it lines up. I'm just going to give it a point tack. Come over here. Ah. Oh, I dropped it. There we go. That's what I dropped earlier. There we go. Cover is curling up a little bit, so I wanted to free my hand up to press down on it a little bit. Okay, line that up. Give that a little point tack. And go to the other side. Give this a little, whoops, tack. Pull that. I'm using the wood as a guide. Give that a point tack. little point tack. With a built-in straight edge, little point tack. Again, it's one of those things you just can't go like that because you're inviting trouble. So I'm just tacking it down in spots and fill in the gaps as I'm pulling it a little bit. And hopefully it'll work out. Yes. Yes, neat. All right, trailing edge pretty much nailed down. I think I'll start in the middle, tack it down a bit, pull here, tack it down a bit, pull over here, tack it down a bit. Pull some of the wrinkles out a little bit. Just like that. There we go. That's good. That's the good stuff. And just work my way down. And so I can nail this wingtip here a little bit. I don't have to pull too much because I still have a bit of undercamber. All right. Grab my baby sock. Baby sock. Baby sock. Get in that curve. Again, undercambered. Ooh, getting warm. Where was I? Here. Sorry, might get in the way. There we go. This is laying down really well, actually. Just heating, pressing down with the baby sock. Just had a request. All right, so that's looking good. A little bit of a wrinkle here. Let me press down on that. There we go. Yes, I think that's very fine. All right. Now we're getting somewhere. Then we'll work in the overlap on the leading edge. We're pulling and heating. Pulling and heating. Have I mentioned do pulling and heating? Yeah, I gotta do pulling and heating. I just left the door open. I'll just work my way down. So I can work pretty much linearly. Oops. Oops. Oh. Again, to get to the tips. Where's my third hand? There you go. Sticking to itself. So, sorry if I'm being a little quiet. Sometimes I'm thinking my next step here. So I'm just basically pulling. When you get to the, careful I don't break anything. That would be very bad. Let's get to the wingtips. You got more compound curves. Everything falls all over the place. So I'll start progressively pulling, especially at the wingtip here. I'm trying to get a good angle. Egg. Let me use my gut. It's big enough. So I can pull and heat and pull and heat. Kind of work my way around slowly. This is kind of a pain. Almost done though. Might have to do it this way. There we go. All right, so that's done. So I can trim this, I think. We're good. We have enough overlap. I can trim it. I can find a knife. I think I'll use a straight edge, maybe a little better. So instead of the X-Acto knife, I'm going to use a straight edge. Bring a brand new one. I think this will be a little better. And I know you can't quite see it. I need to go off the edge. I'm going to do it this way. There we go. All right. All right, so I'm just going to take the straight edge and just run it down the, there we go. Again, this doesn't have to be perfect because it's going to overlap with the top white sheeting. So I just want it relatively straight. That's good. I'll take the regular X-Acto knife and do the rounded tip. It's a little easier to do curves with a regular X-Acto knife. So I'm just going to angle it. There we go. And then just hit the overlap real quick. Oops. There we go. Wingtip. As I mentioned before, I always do the bottom of the wing first, then the top, so everything overlaps. Otherwise, you can have issues. I mean, it'll both will work, but I always prefer to go over because you don't. It's harder to see the seam if you do the bottom first. Use my fancy schmancy trim tool again because reasons. Ah. Something to wonder if this tool's even worth it. It's cumbersome. Here you go. Yeah. Let's do the scissors. Because there's a curve there. It's okay. Nobody's going to see this. Nobody's going to care. All right. So I am almost done. I just got one little strip white to do, and this wing will be pretty much done. Other than a quick hit with a heat gun. All right. Get the last bit of white here. Ah. It's interesting how I just noticed the backing is this sort of translucent covering for the white, but the transparent covering had clear. Interesting. I wonder why they do that. If you know, put it in the chat. All right, so. I may actually come close to, I may actually be able to finish this thing about a weekend. All right. Again, I use the wood as a straight edge, top part of the leading edge sheeting. I'll give a little tap, take it down. Take it down. In the middle here. Take it down. Tack. A little bit of a wrinkle, just a touch. Maybe I just want to keep the edge straight. Yeah. There we go. Oh, hot. All right. This part's probably not going to line up quite as perfectly. All right. We are. The end is nay. The end is nay. So something's bad's going to happen. All right. I know that wingtip's going to give me a little issue. Again, I'll start in the middle-ish. Pull, tack, pull and heat, heat and pull. Oops, come on. Working a little too fast. I let go before it cooled down a little bit. Let me slow down a little bit. There we go. Yep. I'm really curious how you guys are hanging in there. Sorry, I haven't had a chance to look at the chat. Is this the most boring thing you've ever seen in the world? Is it marginally entertaining? Are you playing on your Game Boy while you're watching this? All right, so basically pull and heat, pull and heat. I'm pulling it. I'm basically tacking down the leading edge. The fun part is going to be this tip because it's several compound curves, which I'll be getting to in a second. All right. Let me see how well you can see that. There we go. All right, so we got this compound curve here. Almost invariably, like I can get a spot here. All right, so right here, I'm going to have to try to do it so I don't get any overlap, creases. I think I can do it. If I do section here. Again, it's going to take combinations of pulling and tugging, pulling the covering, maneuvering it. Sometimes you can pull and twist at the same time. So right here, I'm pulling. See a little bit of minor creases, but I think I can pull and stretch, pull and stretch, pull, stretch. Yeah, I think that's been pretty good actually. Pull and stretch, pull, stretch, heat. Let it cool for a second. Pull, stretch, heat. Pull, stretch. Yeah, that's doing really well. Pull, stretch, heat. Heat there a little bit. Pull, stretch, heat. Yeah, look at that. Wish I knew this when I was a kid, man. My first general lady that's covering job was horrendous. I think it flew just because it felt sorry for me, not because I did any good job on covering. All right, so there is a, oh, I can't see. So it's pretty good. There's some minor creases, but I'm not going to complain too much. Very, very minor. Did better than I thought. But a lot of it can be smoothed out. So I think it did fairly well. So, yeah, that'll work. It looks a little rough now because I haven't trimmed it, but I want to go over the leading edge and seal it up. Let me go back wide here. Okay. And just give a good seal to the leading edge. Again, I'll pull it as I'm covering it. Sort of putting it between my armpits. Which mostly works. But we are almost done with this. As I work the leading edge. Gotta be careful. Sanding leading edge, some of the wood's a little thin in the very, very front of the leading edge. Right. Probably need to smooth it down. I'm always losing the baby socks. I need to stick it in my pocket next time or something. I want to. Where's the baby sock? Told you I'm good at losing stuff. Oh, here's an old one. I'll find it when I'm not looking for it. This is what happens after a while. They get this. I left the iron on too long. I forgot to turn it off, and it got burnt up a little bit. But it's good for what I need it for. Covering is fairly loose here. I wanted to press down on it. So you can see this is not hard. There's a bit of a technique and it takes some practice. But it's just really just you just kind of go at it. Have a good iron. Don't use like a clothes iron. And if you've never done it before, it's actually pretty neat to do this. Maybe start with a simple plane. Don't try to make some sort of super beautiful plane. Just give it practice on other stuff. Never forget the time I used to work at a hobby store, and a gentleman had come in, newbie to the hobby, never built an airplane or anything, and he bought a kit and some covering. And maybe a month later, he came back to the hobby store. He had built the plane, and he had covered it, and it was one of the most beautiful covering jobs I've ever seen. I was like, I was asking him, have you done this before? He goes, nope, my first time. And I was like, I hate you. So some people have the knack immediately. Some people like me, takes lots of practice. And I'm still probably just mediocre. All right, so I think this is a knife. With that done, I'm going to trim covering, leading edge. With a nice sharp knife. Again, always use very sharp knife. Note that knives are only good for a few cuts, and then you need to get something else. So some people can sharpen their own X-Acto knives. They have a sharpening tool. I've never done that, but I've been curious about it. All right. And with a straight edge. And we will tack up. You can see the leading edge is kind of lifted up a little bit. So all I was doing is just tacking it down. There we go. And the seam almost just disappears. Very hard to see it. Nice sharp knife, nice straight line. Oops, there we go. Give a little extra attention to the wingtip here. And there we go. So here's the wingtip. I think it came out pretty good with those compound curves. Oh, I gotta trim the little piece here. Will my trim tool work this time? I'm going to try it a different way. Ah, that was the wing moves on me. There we go. 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 Yeah. Yes. Do that. Yokodekamashita. All right. All right, folks. We have a wing. Look at that. Blue. There's the bottom. I think it's still straight. Doesn't look like there's any warps in it. So let me hit it with a heat gun real quick. See how it really looks. Give me a second to find my heat gun. It should be, no, that's the soldering iron. That's not a heat gun. I know where it is. I'm going to take my microphone off for a second. That's the shop. All right. Wow, there's still a bunch of people in here. I'm surprised. Guys haven't gone all, oops, sorry for the noise. Guys haven't gone Lord of the Flies or something. Yeah. All right. So let me, I found my heat gun. I've had this thing forever. I actually have a little heat gun that I got. I don't know, Harbor Freight on Amazon, and I've used this. I got it for heat shrink tubing and stuff, but it actually worked really well for heat shrinking model airplanes. Uh, so it's really good. It's small, so it's easy to get into small crevices and stuff. But I thought I'd use my regular one this time since the model is so big. Give me a second, I'm plugging in. All right. So this is kind of the fun part. Might get a little noisy, but you can see how you can see wrinkles and stuff, and that's perfectly normal. It just hasn't been shrunk. So this sort of Mylar type film is when you go on. I try to pull it a little tight as I tacked it down, but ultimately it's gonna kind of do weird warps and stuff. So let's turn this thing on. And let me see if I can get the lighting just right. There it is. It's shrinking right up. Look at that. You can sort of see it. Fortunately, I got some extra lights here, so it's easy for me to see where it's shrunk and isn't. So good lighting really comes in handy here. It is neat to see all the wrinkles just kind of zzz, zzz, go away. It's also a nice thing about the low temperature heat shrink is it really shrinks real quick. And extra wrinkles is easier to get out. I've hurt the covering before by, wonder if you can see the difference. This part has been shrunk, this part isn't. So you can almost see how you can see the wrinkles here. Nothing here. Track a little bit. Again, you need a good heat gun. A hairdryer really won't work for this. So don't try to use your wife's or girlfriend's hair gun, hairdryer. You need a heat gun. You can use those heat guns they use for peeling off tape. Just be really careful. Those things can be really powerful. Look at this. It's coming right out. I like this. I don't know why it is always so cathartic or something. Just to see all the wrinkles go right away. It's always cool. Especially on the wingtip. We'll see how well the wingtip is always a little bit wrinkly. Sometimes you have to hold the heat a little bit on some of the wrinkles. There we go. Looking right out. Yep. Look at that. That is pretty good. Oh, we got a little bit of a... All right. Let me unplug a few things here. Okay. So I'm not going to bore you with the whole thing. I just wanted to show you that. Oops, wrong way. At least show you the top part. Looks like a couple of... Sure, lift it up a little bit. Might have gotten a little too hot. It's okay. A little touch up here. We'll do that. It happens when I get a little too aggressive on the heat. But it held its shape and didn't do anything weird. That is, I think, really nice. What do you guys think? There we go. Let's just get some light reflection here. Looks like it shrunk pretty nicely. And we've got, I still got to do the bottom. I'll do that later. I'm not going to do that now. Actually, the bottom is sort of mostly shrunk already because of all the heat I applied to stick it to the ribs and the spars. Really, to be honest with you, only need to do a little touch-up heat shrink on it. It's already pretty taut just by the iron. You can see in the reflection on the ceiling light there. So this is quite nice. So I've now got two wings. I got to shrink this one in a minute. So we've got the idea of the wingspan. This thing is big, too big to fit on the screen. Oh, I'm going to seal that a little better. I like that. Having to decide, at first I thought I was going to put some white in the center, but I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'm just going to leave. Well, I don't know. I haven't decided yet. There'll be some white in the center of the fuselage when I put it together. Grab me the fuselage. So the wings just slide in. There. And come on, get in there. Get in there. That doesn't sound good. Supposed to slide right. There we go. Get the angle right. All right. I don't have the guide pins in. So, yeah, I think that'll look good if I put a strip of white right here as well, and then the rest will be blue. Sorry, the camera's kind of close. I can't get any further away. What do you guys think? Yeah, sorry. So I won't go into the fuselage tonight. Well, I probably will cover it tonight, but I'm not going to bore you with that. I'm going to take a break. Let me check the chat, see if I miss anything. I want to sit down for a second. All right. So, we all right, so guys, camera's way over there and it's moving. Why is it moving? Oh, this is why. Have a seat. Man, thanks everybody for hanging in there and watching me cover that wing up. This is a big mother. Sorry. I'm going to bring it over. And it's cool. It's starting to look like an airplane. Look at that. Oops. It's big. Can I sit up here without it falling down? That is a big mother. There you go. Probably not the best view of it. All right. So yes, I see the chat. People asking about this. This is called the Leprechaun Pro. You can get it at crud, it's late. What the hell is this place name? I posted it before. I forget where I can get it from. They're gonna kill me. I forgot the name of the place. It'll come to me in a second. This will be a review in Model Aviation Magazine. Probably be printed sometime early next year. I've got a deadline I got to make, so I'm trying to get it finished and flown and written up. Usually there's like a 3-month. So if I hand it in this December, so probably February issue, I would guess, maybe. No, the issue that comes out in February, for whatever issue that is. Hobby Club sells it. That's it. You can look them up. You can look them up online, hobbyclub.com or whatever. So it's all wood, laser cut. It's gonna have a little motor. The motor is here somewhere. Where's the motor? So it's a motor glider. Supposedly you can do it as a pure glider, and I was going to try to do that with a pod or something, but I just didn't have time. So I happen to have a motor, a little suppo motor that's exactly what they were calling for as far as a KV and size. So I'm going to do this, and I picked up where's the spinner? It's maybe over there. So I got some folding props. Oh, here it is. So I got a spinner, nice little folding spinner for it with a cooling hole, folding props, a couple different sizes that will fit inside the spinner mount there. So it'll fold out, fold in from Kirk at New Creations. Oh, I got three different blades. All right, so I got propellers up the wazoo for this. It's pretty cool. I think it's going to fly just on a 3-cell 2200, just enough, something lightweight, get it up in the air. And from there, I'm looking at the monitor of the glider. I think it's gonna be pretty snazzy. So let me go through the chat here. I know you guys have been talking. Sorry, I didn't realize it's been 2 hours. Wow. Anything I missed? Go ahead and ask me any questions if you need to. Yeah, I heard about you. I just answered what plane it is. What Facebook group? I haven't posted any face group, I don't think. I think I belong to one that talks about balsa wood flyers and maybe one for gliders. I can't remember. I may post it in there. I don't want to post it too much because it's an article, so you'll see it in the article stuff. But so bad. It doesn't crease no matter what I did. Yeah, I mean, you just practice, watch some YouTube videos on covering. You're going to get minor creases. It's just part of the hobby. But you get better at it. Like I said, my first covering jobs were absolutely horrendous. I'd be embarrassed to show you, but you just get better and keep flying. Keep trying. I care to white down the top of the fuselage. Yes. All the way down the fuselage? So I was debating whether or not to stop the white at the trailing edge. I can't do it. I'm looking at the monitor. There we go. So there we go. So I was debating whether to stop the white here at the trailing edge or continue it down all the way down the fuselage. I haven't decided. I'm thinking I'm just going to keep the blue down the trailing edge of the fuselage. I think that'll, and just have the white strip in the middle. I think I'll go with that. I think it might look weird having a. The wingspan is big. It is 2 meters, 2.6 meters. And so what's that in America terms? That's over 2 yards. So you're talking, what's 2.6 meters? 8 feet, roughly? Let me pull the calculator. 2.6 times 3.28. gives us 8.5 feet. Hey, see, mental gymnastics are fairly accurate. Times, how many inches is that? 102 inches. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Mbach. Quick. So it's a big mother. It's only 3 channels, rudder, elevator, and throttle. And there is I already had started covering the tail. I still got to do the blue for the tail, but here's the elevator. So I mentioned the QT. QT is hanging up here. Let me bring it down here for a second. Yeah, sorry I didn't show you. Actually, I did show you a little bit covering QT. If you watched the video, I didn't do it live, but here's my QT 049 powered plane, and here's the elevator. Oh, over here. The elevator is bigger than my QT wingspan. So, yeah, it's a big mother. And QT still going, still going well. I fly it every once in a while. It's still running, got radio gear in and stuff. So I bring it out every once in a while when I feel like flying 049 stuff. Or I go to Cubs and Cousins. So the tail will be blue as well. I use the leftover blue for that. With some white trim. The actual elevator is white. This is the moving part of the elevator. And that's it. So I think I'm going to wrap this up unless you got some last minute questions. Don't know what else to say about it other than I'll probably continue working on it for the rest of the night. See what I can do. Normally I wouldn't push myself that much, but I got a deadline. Those editors and their deadlines and stuff and things. Anything else? This is still on, right? I'll just do a quick check of the chat real quick before I go. Ultra Code, so much from Ghana, huh? Georgetown, Ghana, South America. Oh, I must be French Ghana. Nice job, keep it great. Thank you. Oh, the real modelers. Pterodactyl, Hanger, 50 zone for a bit. Friends of Fort Worth. Flames, Sick Cadet. I think I saw those already. Oh, it was very good quality. Thank you. Temperature is great in the shop tonight. Yes, temperature's really good. Finally had some cool temperatures here in South Texas, and it's just fantastic. I wish it was like this all the time. I got this fellow. Make the center white curve to the leading edge. Oh, I see what you're saying. That's a lot like work. I see exactly what you're saying. That would look neat though. What if I did it in an angle instead of a curve? These are cut straight angles. So if it went up and then did a, oops, I can't point. Here instead of a curve, it just went at a, well, I don't know. It messes up the lines. The rest of the plane is curvy. It'd be weird to have a straight, and I don't know. I'll think about it. Again, I'd have to pre-cut it and then I'll think about it. All right, Dave, you're welcome. Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for I'll look over here. Stay tuned for other stuff. I got some new stuff that came in. Still got a couple more reviews I got to work on. So once this is done, this is taking up my time. So you're probably not going to see anything on the channel for a little while until I get this thing finished and flown. And I've got a couple of new things. I got the where did I put it? I have the new P-47 from eFlight, the new sports scale one. That looks pretty neat. All wood, another all wood kit ready to go. Kind of like the big stick I just had. That's pretty cool. And I've got a racer too, gasser trophy, Thompson Trophy style racer. I'm gonna need to put together. So I got a couple of cool stuff for videos. I got some, and I've got a third project. I won't say what it is at the moment, but I've got something really neat too. I've got to get working on when I get a chance. So keep tuned to the channel. Be patient. More stuff is coming. Look, and whatever else I can think of. I still got some other stuff I need to finish. So everybody, hey Hal, for joining me tonight. Appreciate it. It looks like I had a pretty good compadre of people that chimed in over the couple of hours. So thank you very much. I always appreciate everybody for watching the channel. I always read the feedback. I don't always get a chance to reply to everything, but people give me some really great feedback. I am honored that you find me entertaining enough to watch. It's got to the point where when I go to fly-ins, I've started reading people and say, hey, you have a YouTube channel? So I'm going to have to start wearing a fake nose and a disguise or something when I go out or something. Just kidding. I don't mind meeting anybody. But it's part of the hobby. I love talking to people about the hobby. And thank you so much. And I'm rambling. So I'm going to go take a break, and then I'm going to, I guess, get cracking on the rest of the fuselage. So everybody have a good night. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you in the not too distant future. Good night. What's this button do? Oh, this button.